Golden threads, same sky, different day. There's some spiritual experience that I had maybe, I don't know, 15 years ago, something like that, 10. I was at Woodland Hills Church after service, and it was a decent service, but um, I was waiting for some prayer about something or other, I think. Anyway, sorry I'm so unclear about this, but the thing that I remember really vividly is I had a MAD panel coming up for which I would be speaking. And I was praying about what I could say, because I always do pray before, well, almost always remember to pray before I'm going to speak. And I really searched my mind and heart trying to be a better speaker. Excuse me. And as I was like plumbing the ethos of my consciousness, it sounds pretty out there, but I had a voice come into my head, and it was a voice that I've heard before when I prayed, and sometimes the voice was happy voice, and one time it wasn't so happy. But this time it was just a straight up question. Little Timmy is what I refer to as my victim sometimes. And I was thinking, how can I better tell my story so people will get the message? And all that sounds really well and good, because I want to be uplifting and all that. But the voice said, what? You think you can handle little Timmy better than I can? And, that's the golden thread in the tragedy that my alcoholism brought into existence. That little Timmy died, but yet my higher power, God, Jesus, whoever it was that was talking to me, and I'm guessing it was Jesus, I don't know, could have been God. This is beyond my comprehension, but I knew the voice. I'd heard it before, and I knew it was connected to God anyway. And so there's a great lesson in that, in a few different ways. The golden thread that runs through everything. And I think when people get to know a little bit about religion, they start thinking they got it, or about recovery, like people that are sober for a while, and they think they got it. They understand the lessons. They're working a good program. Or somebody knows the Bible, or they know the Quran, or whatever it is. And knowing all these things are great. I'm not even sure I can pronounce it right. The Indian sacred script, Bhagavad Gita, whatever it is, right? So I think sometimes we think we know something, and we get to the point of saying, well, all right, God, I'll take it from here. I got it. You can just step aside. And we don't do that consciously. We have the best of intentions. I was praying to be a better person. I was praying to, be of maximum service to my fellow, but I had unwittingly, I think, did the I'm going to take it from here thing. And I think so many of us do that. It's like the problems that seem to be plaguing our world, our countries, whatever it might be. We think we can do a better job than God. And, so we start ragging on our legislatures and our senators, and start complaining about the criminal justice system. And trust me, I know something about that. I mean, I've got scars and experiences, and I could go on and on about it, about how ugly it can be, and how human beings in the system can really be rugged. And that's being kind of nice. But it's not even the point. The point is, what do I think I can, just because I've been there and I understand a few things about it, that I can somehow do a better job than God? You know, and I think it's really simple. As our job here is to let go and let God, is to completely surrender and quit trying to take over, and quit trying to say that we're going to dole out God's unconditional love as we see fit. And that's not how it works. You know, we can try, sure, yeah, fine. You know, we're human. We're always going to make a mistake. I'm probably making a mistake now talking. I don't know, but complete and total surrender is really the only thing that works. And love, you know, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength, and love others as you love yourself. It's all about love. And if it's not about love, it's not about God. If it's about you taking over or me taking over, or the ideas that cross my limited consciousness tries to take over, instead of trusting infinite God, I'm relying on finite self, you know, and I think I'm going to change the world with a Facebook quote or post or Instagram or Twitter or whatever, you know. When I saw that social media was being used by people with an agenda, you know, there's at points I thought, well, I should try to, you know, promote love. And but it's still me. It's still me trying to do that, just like the people that are trying to make the world better through their limited agendas, and trying to right the wrongs of the world. All of our intentions are great, but you know, we still got to surrender. It's our job to love all God's children without judgment. We are here to love each other without judgment. Doesn't mean that there's things that aren't wrong, aren't a mistake or whatever, but there's that old story which has been around for thousands of years about the horse, and this basically a serf, if you will, in China, who owned land, I guess, but the real land owner was his master that ruled everybody's land, and he'd have to give away most of his yields and profits to the landowner, or should I say the land controller. The you know, ownership of the means of production or control of the means of production. Well, this was probably control, I don't know. But one fateful day, it would seem, um, the man lost the one possession that he had himself that was 100% his. It was his horse. He woke up one morning and his horse was somehow able to get out of the corral. Maybe someone let it out. Maybe he didn't shut the corral well. Who knows? But the horse is gone. And that was it. All of his worldly possessions, bang, like 1929, they're gone. And all of his friends were expressing sorrow and we're so sorry you lost your sole possession, the only thing you had, and now you're broke and now you got nothing. We feel so sorry for you. That's so bad what happened. And the man's response is like, I don't know if it's bad or if it's not, you know. And I guess a couple of weeks elapsed and he heard a noise, like a rumbling sort of a noise. It sounded like running horses, and he went out of his little shanty and looked, and here comes his horse, and behind him, followed by a bunch of wild horses. And he opened the corral gate, and the horse ran right in there, and the other wild horses followed him in there, and he shut the corral gate. And it turned out to be a blessing for him, right? Well, at least according to his friends, who told him, wow, we're so happy for you. It's so good your horse came back and you were blessed beyond blessing. It's like, holy smokes, you now own more horses than anyone in the kingdom, any single, you know, serf. No one owns as much as you. And it's so good. And the guy said, well, I don't know if it's good or bad. It's just what is. well, again, as fate would have it, right? The story continues that the boy, his son, his only son, was trying to break one of the wild horses, and the horse threw him off and broke him. And he had broken limbs, and I don't know if the story has a paraplegic or what, but he's in rough shape. And all of his friends came to him and condolences, say, "Oh my gosh, we're so sorry that your son fell off the horse and he's broken up, and this is such a horrible thing. Please accept our condolences. This is so bad what happened." And again, what does the guy do? Consistent to his worldview. He says, "Well, I don't know if it's good or if it's bad." And they look at him like he is nuts. And this is a little bit like the look I get when I say to people, just love others, and the world will take care of itself. And I can almost see their eyes glass over occasionally and roll their eyes or look down or look to the side, whatever it is. And like that's some panacea, you know. If we just love all these bad people, everything will change. Well, I suspect that's the starting point. But anyway, well, the kingdom was going to war with some other nation. Right? And the story reflects that the landowners in the whole country got together and they started scripting men to go to war. And they were taking up all the able-bodied men, and you can see where this is going already. And they came to his son, and they saw he was broke up and couldn't go to war. And they went on to the other people's places where they could take their children and hustle them off to war. Draft, I guess. I don't know. And as neighbors, we're doing the same thing. Wow, your son didn't have to go to war. He would have probably been killed, like most people die in these wars. And in some sense, they said he was very lucky, and even though his son is broke up, but at least he didn't have to go to war and get killed. And same answer, man, same answer. You see it coming. The dad said, "I don't know if it's good or if it's bad." But that's the message behind everything. There's a golden thread, and we don't know where it's going. And we need to burn it into the consciousness of every human being that they can get well, regardless of anyone or anything. The same applies to everyone else, too. It applies to you. It applies to me. And if we look for the good, we'll find it. I got that in my first 12-step meeting, first day of sobriety, August 19th of 90. I heard that message and some other ones too. But that's one that stuck with me. And it's like my higher power, God, keeps showing up and giving me these spiritual experiences. But then as I go through my life and I have a spiritual awareness about the spiritual experiences, and I start releasing my bondage of self, my own opinion about what things matter. What do I think, that I can think my way out of this when it was me who thought my way into the problem? And when I think my way into what I assume is a solution with solution-based thinking, and at some point you just got to realize that a solution needs a problem to solve. So you're holding on to the matrix of the problem, and you're basically feeding off the problem. Well, yeah, using the problem for a solution, it's great nutrition and all that. But do you think you can do a better job than God? No. I think if you surrender, you're in tune. And to me, that's what they have a saying in the 12-step recovery program. It's a we program. And as I perceive that, I try to let go of everything I think I know about God, you, me, all the principles and philosophies and religious ideas. I try to let go of that so I can learn something new. But the we program is you, me, and God. God doesn't force it on us. It's omnipresent. We are surrounded by this unconditional grace and this unconditional love. and they just don't think God is upset about the things that we are upset about. Still loves us, doesn't bail on us over it, but sometimes when we have an agenda, when we pray for it, I wonder if God can't hear the I don't know, the part of it that we're trying to take over with, but he can hear the intention of it. He, she, it, whatever God is. So that's all I got, man. Let's hold on to that golden thread, and just remember that forgiveness runs deeper than the offense that calls it into place. And if there was no offense, there would be no forgiveness. But at some point, you got to take it to the level of not being offended by anything. By anything. That's true surrender. Peace out. Love ya.